Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're back once again talking about the League of Legends offseason, the latest and greatest news, rumors, speculation, all that good stuff going on in the professional League of Legends scene. Today we're just taking a look at Twitter. Wooloo has kind of been doing this like Twitter dump recently where he's just throwing out a bunch of random information, rumors, stories, all this stuff he had from the offseason as the offseason kind of is coming to a close now. Obviously most rosters all around the world are getting finalized. So just a couple of just stories that almost happened, some random rumors, all that stuff that he heard, and some stuff that I think is pretty interesting. Just starting at the top of this list, not the very top, but one of the higher things. Palafox was seriously considered by an LEC team. There's been some rumors and speculation of potentially who that team could have been. I know some people are like, oh, was it maybe Fnatic or something? Some people are saying it was probably Misfits. But I do think in the end it's pretty crazy that a guy coming from the LCS Academy scene was actually being considered by European teams for a starting mid lane position. Which is pretty crazy because, one, obviously European mid lane talent is so insane. You know, EU mids, man, it's always going to be the big meme. There's so many young up-and-coming guys. It seems like every single year they have a new absolute beast come into the LEC. So why would they be going for, you know, a young LCS mid lane talent when these players never really seem to work out? You know, we haven't really had a great resident NA mid laner in so long. So I think it does get me really, really excited about Palafox. People are already excited about him. People already think he's going to be a beast. He was already a beast in Academy last year, you know, outshining a lot of these other guys that were really, really hyped up. But if an LEC team is taking note of him and seriously considering him for a starting spot on their team, there might be even more here. Like, there might actually be something here because, again, there's so much young mid lane talent in European solo queue, in the EU system. Guys like Febiven and Nemesis don't even have teams. And you're still considering Palafox. Like, man, teams must see something with this guy. Again, obviously he was a beast. He was the best mid laner in Academy last year. Some people would maybe say it was Evolved, but obviously Evolved is now out of the picture. He's better than some of these other guys who have been kind of hyped up for a while, like Insanity, Ablaze Olive, some of these other mid laners in Academy. And people are really expecting him to have a crazy season and be hopefully one of the best, you know, resident NA mid laners of all time. And that would be awesome. That would be so exciting to see. And yeah, again, I was already hyped, but this story just got me a little bit more hyped. And then we have the story of TSM considering Czekolad. I think that would be not really that exciting. I do think Czekolad's a beast. I think he has a very, very bright future ahead of him. But he doesn't really have necessarily the huge big name power yet and brand power, and he's not super proven. So I don't think that would have been like a hyped up signing that people would have been that excited about. But I do think it's interesting because, again, I am a big fan of Czekolad. I think he's going to be able to come to the LEC and be an absolute beast. And I do think it makes more sense for NA teams to be importing young EU mid laners who have more of a history of working out and actually becoming beasts and stuff over time, more so than an LEC team taking a look at one of the NA mid laners. And then Fnatic trying to ask for Patrick. I think that's something we had kind of heard a little bit before. Not too surprising. Obviously, Patrick's an absolute beast. I think Excel was really not interested in giving him up at all to anyone, no matter the dollar amount. I don't think Fnatic necessarily has the money to be throwing around crazy offers to people to really make Excel kind of, you know, budge off of wanting to give him up. Obviously, they still had other amazing options out there like Upset and Crown Shot, and everything worked out for them in the end. Also, the fact that Misfits had interest in Broken Blade is another story that's not really surprising. Obviously, Broken Blade was one of the best top lane free agents available. A guy that comes from Europe, so he, you know, he should be able to fit into that European system just fine. He's proved himself in the LCS. He's been a beast. Yes, he does have some weaknesses. He has some question marks and stuff. But for a team like Misfits, who's not exactly like a top of the line team in the LEC right now, he would have been a pretty big pickup for them. So I do think that's cool to see that, you know, BB was getting a lot of respect from teams in Europe. Obviously, he ends up at Schalke. He's in a great situation. He's going to be okay. But yeah, he could have ended up on Misfits potentially, even if there was maybe no other suitors for him. And then finally at the bottom, Fnatic was interested in Treatz if Hylissang left. Obviously, there was a time that we were hearing if Reckless leaves, which obviously he ultimately ended up leaving Fnatic, that maybe Hylissang would potentially be leaving too. So that would have left Fnatic open in the support position, and that would have been interesting. It would have been interesting to see who they were able to replace him with. And Treatz being one of the options is another crazy story to me, because again, just like with Palafox, a guy coming out of LCS Academy teams getting so much hype and so much respect from a European team is just crazy to me. Like, we saw him in the LCS a little bit, and he did look good. He had some good games. He had some good weeks. But he also had some pretty rough games in weeks too. And again, some people would attribute that to Doublelift maybe being not so good, maybe being a little washed up, and being tough to lane with, tough to look good with. But Treatz does have a really awesome track record of absolutely dominating Academy. Again, he did have some pop-off games in LCS. People were really, really excited for him. But Fnatic is a team that is trying to make it Worlds, so trying to do damage at Worlds, trying to make it to like semifinals. They're trying to be one of the very, very best teams in the world, and giving their spot to such an unproven guy in Treatz is pretty crazy. But again, it shows that they really, really must see something in him, that they must really, really be hyped up for him, and they must really, really believe in him. So that is a good sign as well. It might end up making TSM look pretty silly for not giving him a chance sooner, for letting him go, for letting him walk. Obviously, they have Sword Art, so everyone's expecting that that will work out and that will be an upgrade over somebody like Treatz. But, you know, TSM had this guy, they let him go. They had Tactical, they let him go. They had Johnson, they let him go. And now they're getting to kind of their new wave of talent and seeing if those things are actually going to work out. But yeah, some pretty big stories here. Some LEC just giving a lot of hype and a lot of respect to things going on in the LCS all of a sudden, which is pretty interesting. The LEC, yeah, going after some of those players. So TSM mid lane story, a lot of just big teams, big stories here. Wooloo is just, again, dumping all kinds of stuff on us on Twitter. A lot of interesting stuff, a lot of talking points, and we'll definitely be covering some other ones of those on my channel when the time comes for that. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about any of the stories we talked about today? Do you think it's crazy that an LEC team wanted Palafox, or do you think he deserves all that hype? Do you wish Treatz would have ended up on Fnatic? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on anything we talked about today. Subscribe to update on my latest content. Check me over at Twitch, twitch.tv/I_am_germ. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.